They told me I couldn't do it. They said I wasn't made for it. And you know what? For a long time, I believed them, because when all you've ever known is pain, failure, abuse, and ridicule, it becomes easy to accept that this is just who you are, that you're broken, that your destiny is already written in stone. But I'm here to tell you that's a lie. The mind, they never taught us how powerful it really is. They never showed us what happens when a man refuses to accept the limits placed on him. When he decides with every fiber of his being that he will master his mind or die trying. I was born into hell. Abuse, poverty, racism, learning disabilities, you name it. I had every excuse in the book to quit before I even started. But excuses don't build strength. Excuses don't build greatness. They build weakness. And weakness is the voice that tells you it's okay to stay down when life knocks you flat on your back. Weakness is seductive. It's easy. And that's the problem. Most people would rather stay in pain than get uncomfortable. They'd rather suffer in silence than go to war with their own mind. But that's where the transformation happens. That's where the truth lives. I remember being 297 pounds, spraying for cockroaches, working dead-end jobs, and eating donuts in my car because that's what I thought I was worth. And then I saw a Navy SEAL on TV. Something clicked. Not because I thought I could be one, but because I knew I couldn't. And that's exactly why I had to try. You see, your mind will always go to the path of least resistance. It wants comfort, safety. It wants to keep you alive, but not fulfilled. If you want to master your mind, you have to do the exact opposite of what it wants. You have to drag yourself toward suffering. You have to choose pain. You have to volunteer for discomfort every single day. Because the truth is, the mind is like a wild animal. If you don't train it, it will train you. It will convince you that quitting is logical, that your dreams are delusions, that your potential is just a myth someone else told you about. But when you decide to fight back, when you start to run toward the voice that says, I can't, everything changes. That's when you start building calluses on your mind, not just on your hands, not just on your feet, but on your mind. And those mental calluses are what will carry you through when motivation dies. You have to choose pain. You have to volunteer for discomfort every single day when your body is screaming to quit, when life throws 100 more reasons at you to stop, because it will. Life doesn't care about your dreams. It doesn't owe you anything. It's up to you to decide how you respond. Most people don't know how far they can go because they've never pushed themselves to the limit. They stop at 40%. That's the rule. When you think you're done, you're only at 40% of your true capacity. You got 60% left, but your mind is too weak to access it. Unless you've trained for it, unless you've suffered on purpose, unless you've looked in the mirror and decided that you're not going to be a victim anymore, that you're done being average, done being soft, done blaming the world for who you are. Mastering your mind starts with doing the things you hate. You hate running? Run. You hate studying? Study. You hate waking up early? Wake up earlier. Because every time you choose discipline over comfort, you're rewiring your brain. You're proving to yourself that you're in control. Not your emotions, not your fears, not your past, you. But don't get it twisted. This isn't a one-time thing. This is every single day. There's no finish line, no moment where you arrive and get to relax. That's a lie they sell you so you'll stop pushing. This game never ends. The moment you think you've made it is the moment you start dying. Pain is the pathway to power. I ran on broken legs. I studied with dyslexia. I endured Hell Week 3 times, not because I'm a superhero, but because I stopped negotiating with my mind. I made suffering my friend. I made pain my teacher. And every time I came out to the side of something that should have destroyed me, I realized something. I was never broken. I was never weak. I was just untested. And most of you are too. You've got greatness inside you, but it's buried under comfort, under laziness, under fear, and no one's coming to dig it out. That's on you. No coach, no mentor, no motivational speaker. Just you, a mirror, and a decision. A decision to stop running from your demons and start hunting them. Because once you face them, you realize they were never that powerful to begin with. They fed off your fear, off your hesitation, off your belief that you weren't good enough. But when you face them head on, when you do the hard things, when you get up after being knocked down, when you keep grinding, even when there's no applause, no recognition, no guarantee, It changes who you are. People think motivation is what they need. They think inspiration is fleeting. It's like it burns hot and it's gone. You need discipline. You need a savage mentality. You need to get up every morning and do what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. You need to create your own motivation by doing the hard shit and seeing what you're made of. Because once you see that, once you taste that level of strength, you can't go back. I didn't become a Navy SEAL because it was easy. I became a Navy SEAL because it was impossible. I wanted to prove to myself that I could do the unthinkable, that I could beat the odds, and not just once, over and over again, because that's what life demands. One victory doesn't make you great. Consistency does. Persistence does. The refusal to quit does. And that starts with mastering your mind, with being stronger than your excuses, with saying, I will go to war with myself every single day until I become the person I was born to be. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the perfect plan. Don't wait until you feel ready. You'll never feel ready. That's the trap. Start now. Start broken. Start tired. Start afraid. And keep going. Keep showing up. Keep fighting, because every rep, every mile, every hour you grind in silence builds something inside you that can't be taken away. Something that turns I can't into I must. Something that turns doubt into domination. Something that says to the world, you can't hurt me anymore. That's not ego, that's ownership. That's realizing that the mind, when trained properly, can carry you through anything: death, failure, heartbreak, rejection. And it doesn't matter, because when you master your mind, nothing external can defeat you. The only enemy that can take you out is the one in the mirror. And once you defeat him, once you dominate that voice that says give up, you become unstoppable. So don't tell me about your limits. Don't tell me about your excuses. I've heard them all. I've lived them all. And I still chose to fight. And that's the challenge I'm giving you. Not to be perfect, not to be fearless, but to fight every damn day, to take control of your life by first taking control of your thoughts, to suffer on purpose, to do what most won't so you can live like few ever will. That's what it means to master your mind. That's what it means to defy the odds. And if you can do that, if you can suffer, sacrifice, and stay the course long enough to transform your mind, you'll realize something. It was never about proving them wrong. It's about proving to yourself that they never had the power. You did, all along. There comes a time when you have to make a decision, not the kind of decision where you think about it for a while, talk to a few friends, weigh the pros and cons. I'm talking about a decision where you burn the ships. No backup plan, no second guessing. Just a total ruthless commitment to becoming who you know you're capable of being. And that starts with one thing: taking full, radical ownership of your life. Most people will never understand what it means to own everything. They'll say it's too harsh, too unforgiving. They'll point fingers at their past, their parents, their boss, their circumstances. They'll talk about things they can't control. But let me tell you something. Until you take responsibility for every part of your life, even the stuff that wasn't your fault, you will never take control of your destiny. You will never grow. You will never rise. Because blaming others might feel good for a minute, but it guarantees that you stay stuck. I had every reason to blame someone else. My father was violent. My childhood was chaos. I struggled in school. I was overweight. I was depressed. I was broken. But at some point I looked in the mirror and asked myself one question: what if it's all your fault? Not because it actually was, but because the second you say I'm in control, you stop waiting for someone to rescue you and you start rescuing yourself. That's the power of accountability. It's not a punishment, it's a weapon. It's how you take your pain and use it. It's how you transform your failures into fuel. When you say this happened and now it's my job to fix it, you flip the switch. You go from being a victim of your circumstances to being the author of your story. You stop reacting and start creating. And that mindset, that's what separates the average from the elite. I hear people say all the time, that's just how I am, like it's some badge of honor. No. That's how you've allowed yourself to be. You think I was born running ultra marathons? You think I was born disciplined? You think I was born hungry for war? Hell no, I was scared, I was soft, I was lazy, but I chose to become something different. I decided to build a new identity, not with words, not with some affirmation on a sticky note, but with action, repetition, brutal, relentless effort every single day. And that's where the real battle happens. Not on the stage, not in the spotlight, but in the darkness. In the moments where no one's watching, no applause, no validation, just you and your decisions. Every time you hit snooze, instead of getting up, you're choosing who you become. Every time you skip the workout, the study session, the hard conversation, you're casting a vote for the version of yourself you're stuck with. And if you do that long enough, it becomes who you are. But the good news is, it works the other way too. Every time you show up, when it's hard, when you're tired, when you've got nothing left, you're building a new version of yourself. A stronger version, a version that doesn't fold under pressure, that doesn't need approval, that doesn't make excuses. That version is inside of you right now, but you got to earn them. You got to bleed for them. That's why I created the accountability mirror. Not because I needed a gimmick, but because I needed the truth. Every day I looked in that mirror and told myself exactly who I was. No filters, no lies. If I was fat, I said it. If I was dumb, I said it. If I was weak, lazy, scared, I said it, because owning the truth, no matter how ugly, is the only way to change it. You can't improve what you won't admit. You can't heal what you won't face. Most people lie to themselves to feel good in the moment and then wonder why nothing changes in their life. That's not self-love, that's self-sabotage. If you want to become uncommon amongst uncommon, you have to become obsessed with the truth, ruthless with it. You have to strip away all the bullshit stories you've been telling yourself, the stories that say I'm too old, I didn't grow up with money, I don't have the talent, people like me don't succeed. Bullshit. That's the voice of mediocrity. And the only way to kill that voice is with proof, with action, with results. You don't need a cheerleader. You need a cold, honest mirror and the guts to look into it every day and say, you're still not good enough, but you're working on it. And you better believe it's going to hurt. Growth doesn't come with comfort. You're going to fail. You're going to fall. You're going to be embarrassed. You're going to question yourself. But that's part of it. That's the initiation. You don't get greatness without paying a price. And that price is pain, sacrifice, isolation. You're going to lose people. You're going to miss out. But every single second you spend building the hardest, most disciplined, most dangerous version of yourself, it's worth it. Because when the world turns against you, that version is the one who shows up. That version doesn't flinch. That version doesn't break. You have to build your own standards. Most people live by the standards of others. They do just enough to not get fired, just enough to not fail, just enough to get by. That's not living, that's surviving. I didn't want to survive, I wanted to conquer. I wanted to dominate. And to do that, I had to raise my standards higher than anyone else's. I had to hold myself accountable to a level that most people wouldn't understand. Waking up before the sun, training when no one's looking, studying when everyone else is relaxing, showing up, even when I had every reason to quit. People used to call me crazy, obsessive, too intense, but they didn't understand I wasn't trying to impress anyone. I wasn't chasing approval. I was building an armor that no one could take from me, an identity forged in fire. And that's what I challenge you to do. Not to be me, not to copy my path, but to stop accepting mediocrity in your life. To stop lying to yourself about how hard you're really working, to stop blaming your situation and start owning it. Because here's the truth, they don't care. The world doesn't care about your excuses. Life doesn't care about your past. Your goals don't care how hard it is. It's on you, always has been, always will be. And that's the greatest freedom you'll ever have, because if it's on you, that means you can change it. You can flip the script. You can rewrite your story, not tomorrow, not someday, right now. Start small, start ugly, start without motivation, start with the truth. Look in the mirror tonight and ask yourself, am I doing everything I can? Not kind of, not sort of, everything. If the answer is no, don't hate yourself. Don't make excuses. Just do something about it. Set one goal, keep one promise, win one battle, and stack those wins until you become a person you don't recognize. A person you're proud of, a person who doesn't need to talk about what they're going to do because they're already doing it. You don't get to the top by being like everyone else. You get there by doing what others won't, by sacrificing comfort, by embracing pain, by holding yourself to a higher standard every damn day. That's what accountability looks like. That's what mastery looks like. And that's how you defy the odds. You're not broken, you're just untested. You're not lost, you're just waiting for the version of yourself who refuses to accept anything less than excellence. Stop waiting, go find them. The truth is simple. Most people live their entire lives inside a cage they built themselves. A cage made of fear, self-doubt, and the comfortable lies they tell to avoid the pain of growth. They talk about what they want. They dream, they hope, they plan, but when it comes time to act, they freeze, they hesitate, they pull back. Because growth is uncomfortable, change is painful. And the moment you step outside that warm bubble of routine and ease, life gets hard. That's why very few ever break out of that cage. But if you want to be uncommon amongst the uncommon, you don't just have to face pain, you have to seek it. You have to chase it down and dare it to stop you. You want to know the real separator between people who talk about it and people who live it? It's not talent, it's not luck, it's not even intelligence. It's the ability to suffer, to endure, to keep showing up when it hurts, when it's lonely, when there's no promise of success. Most people can push for a day, a week, maybe a month. But when the grind stretches into years, when progress slows to a crawl, when the setbacks start stacking up, they fold, they tap out. But not the savage, not the one who's forged by pain. That person doesn't stop when it gets hard. That's when they start, that's what I call embracing the suck. Because the suck is where it all begins. It's where you find out who you really are. When you're freezing cold, bone tired, running on fumes, and still find the strength to take another step. That's when you become someone else. That's when you transform. Not in the good days, not when everything's going your way, but in the dark, in the silence, in the trenches, when no one believes in you, including yourself. You either quit or you dig deeper. And that depth, that hidden reserve of grit, of resolve, of will, it's there in every one of us. But only suffering reveals it. I didn't become who I am because I was special, but I became who I am because I was willing to do what most people won't. I trained when I was sick. I ran on broken bones. I studied for hours with a mind that struggled to retain even the basics. I suffered more than I thought possible. But through that suffering, I found something powerful. The calloused mind. A mind that doesn't flinch when pain shows up. A mind that expects resistance and welcomes it. That's what you need to build if you want to defy the odds. But let's be clear, pain alone doesn't change you. What changes you is what you do with the pain. Most people try to avoid it. They try to numb it, distract themselves, but I want you to feel it. Let it burn. Let it tear you down, and then use the rubble to rebuild something unbreakable. Don't just endure, analyze, learn from the pain. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this? What is this teaching me? Where is the weakness it's exposing? And once you find that weakness, attack it over and over again until it becomes a strength. That's how you evolve. That's how you sharpen your mind and build resilience that nothing can shake. It's not supposed to be easy. People keep searching for the hack, the shortcut, the one-size-fits-all solution that's going to make the hard stuff go away. There is no hack. There's only work. Painful, exhausting, day in, day out work. And when you accept that, when you embrace that as the price, everything gets clearer. You stop waiting for things to feel right. You stop needing motivation. You stop caring how long it takes because you're not doing it for the outcome anymore. You're doing it because this is who you are. This is what you do. I've learned that if you want to go beyond what people think is possible, you have to get obsessed with your own suffering. You have to make discomfort your home. I didn't train for races so I could win trophies. I trained because I needed the hurt, because that hurt revealed the gaps in my discipline, the gaps in my character. It showed me where I was still soft, still scared, still full of doubt. And every time I stepped into the pain, I got a little bit harder, a little bit sharper, a little bit closer to the man I was born to be. The truth is, if you can't suffer, you can't grow. If you avoid the dark, you'll never learn to shine. If you only move when it's easy, you'll never go far. And that's the lie the world feeds you. that you're supposed to be happy all the time, that struggle is a sign you're doing something wrong. No, struggle means you're doing something right. It means you're testing your limits. And if you stay with it long enough, you'll realize that the pain isn't your enemy, it's your greatest ally. Because it strips away the bullshit, it reveals the truth. And in that truth, you will find freedom. Freedom from fear. Freedom from the opinions of others. Freedom from the weak version of yourself that's always looking for an exit. Pain isn't there to break you, it's there to show you that you can't be broken. That's the secret. That's what most people never understand. They think toughness is about pretending you don't hurt. But real toughness is about hurting and moving forward anyway. It's about walking through fire with your eyes wide open, knowing full well what it's going to cost and paying it anyway. So stop waiting for the pain to pass. It won't. Stop hoping life gets easier. It won't. You get stronger, you get harder, you get more focused, more discipline. You build that armor day by day by going to war with your weakness. Not once, not sometimes, every day. That's the difference. That's the code. That's what separates the warrior from the rest. And the best part is, you don't need anyone's permission to do it. You don't need talent. You don't need a head start. All you need is the will to suffer now so you can live free later. And because the truth is, the more you suffer voluntarily, the less life can throw at you that will shake you. When you choose your suffering, you rob fear of its power, you take back control, and eventually you become someone even pain respects, someone even failure thinks twice before approaching, someone who doesn't just survive the fire, but becomes it. So here's what I'm asking you to do. Go suffer. Go put yourself in situations that demand more than you think you have. Go fail, go fall, go struggle. Not because it's noble, but because it's necessary. Because on the other side of that suffering is a version of you that doesn't flinch, doesn't fold, doesn't fear anything. That version is waiting, but he won't come find you. You got to go earn him. That's how you master your mind. That's how you defy the odds. Not by hoping, not by wishing, but by bleeding, by grinding, by walking through hell with your head held high and your fists clenched. You don't get stronger by avoiding pain. You get stronger by dragging it with you until it becomes part of you. Until it bends to your will, until it realizes that you are the one who can't be hurt, not anymore. You don't become the hardest motherfucker in the room by accident. You become him through suffering, through discipline, through war. So don't just endure it. Don't just survive it. Own it, use it, turn it into your weapon, because when you do that, you'll finally understand it was never pain that was holding you back. It was your refusal to face it. Now, face it.